Okay, once we've finished customizing and adding all the content to the website, it's time to make sure that it looks good on all breakpoints and it's responsive. Now, because this is a template, I'm assuming they've already made most of the responsiveness and most of the things look okay, but we've made some changes, so we just need to verify and fix when things are gone wrong. When we're going to be building a website from scratch later in the course, we're going to have way more work because we'll have to do the whole setup to make sure everything is responsive. We'll get to that later. For now, let's have the easy life and let's just start to, the way I'm doing this is I'm going to the home page and I'm going to go through each breakpoint. So we know desktop looks okay because that's what we've been doing so far. Let's move into the second breakpoint, which is the tablet, and start looking at it. So the first thing that I have here is the text is going on top of my image a little bit and it's not really readable, and I'd like to move myself a little bit here. We might need a little less space here. So let's go ahead and select the hero section. And now let me remind you, if you've watched the principal video, all the changes that I'm going to do right now are only going to affect the tablet breakpoint and downward. So changes that I'm going to make to the styles right now are not going to affect the desktop. So everything we've done so far is saved, and everything that we're changing right now is only going to affect this one and smaller breakpoints. So I'm going to go into the hero and let me look for my image. And remember, we've spaced it out here with the left. So let's try and push this now to maybe even above 100, maybe a little bit, something like 120. So I'm a little bit cut here, and the text is almost not cropping me, so something like this. So I think this looks better. Okay, so for now I'm good with this. Let me scroll down. This one looks okay. This one looks okay. Nothing to change here, so we're good. Let's continue to the next breakpoint, which is mobile landscape. So mobile landscape, again, we have a little bit of a problem. Now, one thing that I do want to mention about this is that right now we're looking at this screen and it's kind of like tall, but if you look at the icon here, you will see that this is mobile landscape. So when people are holding this, they're actually not going to see it like this. They're actually going to see it maybe something like this. Okay, so we have to remember this. Okay, and we can also click here. Here we can only see the width, so it's not going to help us. We can again do what I just did, which is make the window smaller, like this, to try to see what it's going to look like. And if this is around what it's going to look like, actually what I can do is move myself around again. One thing that you want to review is that, again, this is dynamic 100% viewport height. So it's not what I'm seeing right now. It's what they will see on their screen. So actually let's work this way. Let me scale it up this way and let me go through here. Not very ideal the way that I'm doing it right now. I'm looking for the image and I'm moving it back here around 90 or 80 or something like that. So that looks good. So remember, it's not what the Webflow preview shows you. It's the actual device that people are going to use. That's what really matters. And later in the course, we'll give you some tips and tools to do the QA and see how things look on real devices in even more professional and advanced way. The last one is this mobile portrait. And for this one, this is going to be, really vertically, maybe not as long as this one, but maybe something like this. And we can see that this doesn't look really good. So we need to adjust that. So again, we're in the hero. Let's first think, what do we want? So I think in this case, maybe I don't want this to be just like forcing it to be 100% of their screen. Maybe they just need to scroll and first they see the text and then they see the image. So what I want to do is I'm going to change the height, the minimum height of this hero section to, instead of 100, let's just put it to something like, let's try 800 pixels or something like this. Okay, so we're forcing it to be a specific size, and we're going to go into the image and we're going to change the height from 80, and let's change it to 50. So it's something like this. Okay, this looks better. Let's see what happens. the text right now is aligned to the bottom, so let's align it to the top and see how that looks. So how is the text? Why is the text aligned? Let's figure out how the text is aligned. We have here the wrapper, and we have the hero. Now the hero has a flex box applied to it in terms of the layout, and you can see here that it's aligning things to the bottom. So if we change that to the middle, now it's aligning to the middle. If we align this to the top, it's actually all the way to the top, including on top of the navigation that we have here. So one thing that we do is we can either put the alignment to the top and give it a little bit of padding from the top. We don't need the bottom padding here, so we can turn that into 0 and we can drag a little bit like this. So this is better. We can see that it's still not really good with the image. And also one thing that I don't like is that it's too narrow for this screen. There's too much padding on the left and right of this hero section. So I'm going to hold Option and to do this symmetrically from both sides, I'm just going to remove it, not completely, but something like this, like 10 pixels. And there's also too much space. You know, now we're in smaller screen sizes. It's a waste, the space that we have here between the paragraph and these texts. So let me see what is spacing them. So maybe this main thing is not pushing it down. So what is pushing it down? So we have this, so we have this home subhead. This is the wrapper of this text. And note that it has 30 pixels of top margin. That's a lot. Let's reduce that to maybe 10. I think that's good. So this is not bad. It's almost right. So maybe people do need to scroll to see my image, but that's how the layout is going to look like. Let's start scrolling here. The rest of it looks good. So with that, we're done with making sure that the home page is responsive and looks great on all breakpoints. Of course, you do want to test this out on real devices to see how that looks like. Let's go and see the About page and see what happens over there. So let's start also with the tablet. Scroll through this. Actually looks good. There's actually not much that I need to fix here. Let's try this. Here we have this kind of like a weird breaking of the text, which I don't like too much. So maybe it already has a little bit of this project info, a little bit of padding from the right side. Let's see what happens if I remove that. Great. Now that I'm removing it, the text fits. Now, it's not always going to be this size. Obviously, some tablets are in different sizes. And in some cases, it will break this way. But in most of them, looks like it's going to look okay. What's going to happen on the mobile? So on the mobile, again, there's too much padding. Everything, though, the whole thing is squeezed a little bit too much. So as you can see, there's a lot of padding goes up from everywhere, right? So in this case, let me just remove all of it to 0. And now I think this is better. It's spaced out nicer. This looks good. So yeah, with that, I think we're done reviewing it. You feel free to walk through the rest of the pages in the website, but we've pretty much made the website responsive. Let's go and make sure that the form actually works the way we want it to work.